Hello everyone. In this video, we'll be learning about one of the most used and versatile data structure in Python. It is a list. You'll learn about how to create a list, how to access elements in it, and how to modify a list. Without further ado, let's get into the video. List is a collection of elements where we can access each element by their position. Now, let's try to create a list. Here, I create a list containing numbers. Here, we can see that every element is getting separated by a comma and they are enclosed within a square bracket. Let's try to print the list out. Yeah, the list is getting printed. List also supports having elements of different data types. So, we can have a list which has elements belonging to different data types. Let's try to create one. Here, I have a string which says hi. I have a float, I have an integer. List also supports having duplicate elements. So I can have data which are duplicate. Now let's try to print it out. Yeah, it's getting printed. We can also create an empty list. Now let's create an empty list. There is also a function which gives us the number of elements present in the list. It is called len. Let's try to print the number of elements present in the list C. Here it outputs as 0 because the number of elements which are present in the list C is 0. Now let's try to print the number of elements which are present in the list B. We should get an output of 4. Yeah, we are getting an output of 4. Now let's learn about how to access elements in the list. As I said to you earlier, elements in the list are accessed by their position in it, which is actually called index. I'll show you an example for better understanding. Here we have a list containing the days from Monday to Friday, and we can see that the numbers which are at the top of it are called index. As Monday is present at the first position, it can be accessed by the index 0. Tuesday can be accessed by the index 1. Actually the position in it starts from 0. So if we want to access the element Friday in the list, we have to use the index 4. Now let's try to create a list and check it out. I'll be creating a list containing different programming languages. Now if I want to access Python in it, I have to use the index 0, which should be enclosed within square brackets. I use 0 because Python is present at the first position and the indexing in the list starts from 0. Here we get an output Python which indicates it's at the first position. Let's try to access this second element. If I enter 2 here, the element which will be accessed is actually at the third position because indexing starts from 0. So 0, 1, 2 will get the output C. Yes, we are getting the output C. Now if we want to access the element which are present at the index 0, 1, 2, we can use the slicing operator. Slicing operator looks like this, and as we want to access the elements which are the Python, C++ and C, Python is at the 0th position and C is at the second position, but the left element which is present before the slicing operator is inclusive, which means will be accessing the element there, but the right will be exclusive. So we should enter the element which is 1 above the element that we need to access. C is at the second position, so we will be using 3. Here we get our necessary output. There is also another way of accessing elements, that's from right to left. So here we can see that Friday can be accessed by the index 4 and also the index -1. So if we directly want to access the element at the end, we need not know the number of elements present in it. We can just use -1 to figure it out. As we start from -1 and we go from right to left, we see that Thursday can be accessed with -2, Wednesday can be accessed with -3, and Monday can be accessed with -5. Let's access the element Friday by negative index. We'll be using -1 here. We get the output Java as it is present at the end of the list. List is actually modifiable, which means we can insert elements in it, delete elements, and also change element. If we want to change element in the list, we have to specify the index of the place where we want to change the element. So now if I want to change the last element in the list, I'll be using the index inside the square bracket 0, 1, 2, 3. So I'll be using 3 and I'll be entering the new data which has to be replaced there. Then let's print the list out. Here we can see that the last element is modified and we get the new output. Now let's try to change the element which is at the 4th index. And let's print it out. Here we get an error here which says list assignment index out of range. This is because we are accessing an index which is actually not at the list. So we are getting this error. You might wonder, how do we add elements in the list if accessing indexes like 4 is not possible? Well, there is a way. There are various functions which are associated with the list that we can use to add elements, remove elements. Now, let's use one. If we want to add an element at the end of the list, we can use the append function. Now, if we want to add the programming language Rust at the end, we'll use it. Now, let's print it out. Here, we can see that Rust is getting added at the end. We can also add elements in a particular position. As we change the programming language Java to Perl, we have to add Java in it. Where can we add it? Let's try to add at the second position. So append function cannot be used for it. We can use insert function. So we'll be using the insert function, and the first parameter that we should give is the index where the element has to be added. So if we want to add the element here, we have to specify the index. So Python is at 0, C++ is at 1, C is at 2. So we have to add at 3. And the string that we will be inserting is Java. Print the list now. Here we see that Java is getting inserted at the third position. We'll clear the code here and we'll learn about how to remove elements from the list. So the list that we'll be using is the output that we got at the end. So from here, if you want to remove C from it, we can use the function remove. So what we do is use the functions remove and we specify the element that we have to remove from it. Let's print it now. Yeah, C has been removed. So now let's comment it out. So the old list remains the same. Now if we want to remove an element by their position, we can use the function pop. Pop by default removes the element at the end. Let's use the function pop and let's print it out. What pop does is it gives us the element that it is removing. So we'll save the element that it's removing in the variable b and we'll check it out. Yeah, rust which is present at the end of the list is getting removed, and we can also see it is getting stored at the variable b. We can also remove elements by their index, I mean at the second or third index. Now let's try to remove the element C++. So we'll be, as it is present at the index 1, we'll be using it. Yeah, C++ is getting removed from the list and we are also seeing the output here. If you want to find the position at where Perl is there in the list, we can use the function index. So we'll be printing the position where Perl is there in the list. We know that Perl is present at the fourth position as indexing starts from 0. Here it gives an output 4. We might also come to some situations where we have to copy the list in a different variable. Here we can use the copy function. So copy function creates a clone of the list and stores it in a new variable. We can see here that the variable b has the same list which is present in the variable a. There are also some functions which we can use it to add to list. Suppose we have a list called C which contains 2 elements and we want to add A and C together. We can use the function extend, where at the first we will be giving the list where we have to add the second list, and let's print the new list now. Here we can see that extend function has added the 2 list. There are also functions to reverse the list. Now we will be reversing the list by using the reverse function. Yeah, here we can see that the list has been reversed. These are some of the functions which we can use to modify the list. This marks the end of the video, and I hope you learned about how to create a list, how to access elements in it, and how to modify a list. Thank you, and let's learn about a different data structure in the next video.